Today, I'm going to bust a nut on 5 of the biggest dropshipping myths that are keeping you broke. These little white lies that we like to tell ourselves to justify why we aren't making any money with our dropshipping stores. And in the beginning, when I first started, I used to make these exact mistakes and had these limiting beliefs that really held me back for so long. So I want to bust them for you guys so that you actually know what the truth is for getting dropshipping success. Now, the first myth I hear over and over again is that you can only get success if you have a one product store. Now, the reality is I can understand your reasoning and your theory behind that. If I have a product and I build a whole brand around it, the perceived value, the trust is going to be the highest. And I don't disagree with you whatsoever. But the reality is I ran an agency about 2 years ago where we would test about 50 products a month for our different clients. And we would have the exact same product, exact same creatives, exact same offer, exact same product page. But the only difference for some of our clients is we would do it on a general store. And for some of them, we would do it with a fully branded new logo, new domain, one product store. And what we found out is that when we tested these 50 products, there usually would be about 5 to 10 winners. And from those 5 to 10 winners, when it worked on the one product store and then we tested it on a general store for another client, it still worked because the core things that actually mattered were present. A great product, a great offer, and great creatives. It really doesn't matter the way that your website looks. And I can understand aesthetics are going to matter to you because it's your website, it's your brand, you're looking at it every single day. So you're going to nitpick, you're going to notice those little details. But the average person that clicks your ad is going to go to your product page and that is it. They don't care if your logo isn't necessarily related to the product. They don't care if you're selling other products. And I get that all the time that, oh, if I have a general store, what if people notice all the other products I'm selling? Ethan, what about they see the baby products when I'm selling home decor? There's no way they're going to buy. Again, the average person, I would say around 98% of people, just from my own personal experience, are going to stay on your product page and then they're either going to make a decision to buy or they're going to leave. That is it. People do not browse your website anywhere near as much as you think. This isn't a clothing brand here. This is a dropshipping store selling a product that's usually going to be problem solving in a lot of cases. So if you get those things nailed down, focusing on testing different products, different offers as well, and different ad creatives, then it really doesn't matter if it's a general store or one product store. But once you do validate, and I personally prefer general stores because you get the flexibility to test any product and you don't have to buy a new domain and a new logo every single product test. That's just, in my opinion, very inefficient. But once you test a product and it works on a general store, which it will if you have all those other things nailed down, then you can build it into a one product store, build a brand that you can sell, and then of course get custom images, get custom content, and build that brand, build that authority, because that will improve your conversion rate when you really do things the right way. But for the sake of testing, you're never going to do custom product images, custom all that. That's when you really validate a product. But when you're testing products, it's all about getting them validated, getting proof of concept. And by far the most efficient way to do that is on a general store. You will make sales. That's not the thing holding you back. And just to illustrate this point one step further, this week I had a partner student of mine where we had a winning product that was doing about $1,000 a day. And his conversion rate was about 2% on his website. He had this one offer that was crushing. Every time we would split test a new offer, it would not beat this original offer, which was selling his product for $49.99 and then buy 2 for $79.99. And I believe it was shoes. So his cost of goods was $15 for one pair of shoes. And then for 2, it was $26. So about a $10 increase. So I looked at that. And this week we came up with a new offer and I said, let's do a BOGO at $59.99. Get 2 pairs for $59 because his margins really don't change that much. Because again, if he sells one pair at $49, it costs him $15. That means he makes $34 a sale. With this new offer, we're charging $59. It costs him $26, and he's making $33. It's $1 less. But if the conversion rate goes up enough, then that dollar that we lose is going to more than pay itself back because we're getting more people to convert because it's a better offer. It's more valuable. And when we change that offer up with the same product page, same copy, same everything, his website started converting this week 2.5x greater. Meaning his original offer had a 2% conversion rate. This new offer has a 4.5% conversion rate. It has doubled his original offer, which just shows you how important it is to split test these things. Because your original product, your original price, your original creatives are not going to be the exact offer, creatives, etc. that get you to $5,000 days. You're just testing, you're throwing things at the wall, but you're doing it intentionally, and then you find out what works, and then you iterate. Now, the next myth I see all the time that kind of leads me into this point is that there are no winning products. or that there are winning products specifically. Everyone believes that there are certain products that no matter what, you can have a terrible website, you can have terrible creatives, but because it's a winning product, it's just going to make sales. And that's simply not the case. Products are just products, but the way you market them is what's going to make them a winner. Finding the right marketing angle, finding the right audience, finding the right platform, finding the right creative. That's what makes a product a winner. So I have so many cases right now. I have 7 stores I'm currently scaling, past 50 grand a month. And we get new competitors every single day that try to rip exactly what we're doing. But because their skills aren't as developed as ours, because they don't have any momentum, because they haven't spent as much money on the ad algorithm on Facebook, TikTok, all these different places, when they just try to copy us and start from scratch with a lower budget, we're crushing them. We're killing them because they're not coming at it from a new perspective with better marketing. Because if you're going to sell any product that someone's already making sales with and is starting to scale, you have to find a way to beat them. And you don't beat them by playing at the same level as them. For instance, Nike's been around forever. So they have brand equity. They have hundreds of customers. I mean, not hundreds. They have millions and millions and millions of customers who are going to trust them. They know them. They like them. So if a new brand came out and did exactly what Nike was doing, obviously it's super high quality. They built this amazing brand. But if they try to copy Nike like for like, people are just going to be like, well, that already exists out there. There's already Nike. I'm just going to buy from them instead because I trust them. I like them. I already know them. Compared to this new brand, even though the new brand's doing exactly what does work for Nike. But you got to find out what works for you. So you can't just copy your competitors. You can't just launch with the same creatives, launch with the same website, launch with the same offer, and expect to get better results than them. No, you have to think outside the box. And that's why when I have people in my Discord calls that will say, hey, I tested this product and it didn't work for me, I'll look at that product and be like, oh yeah, that was a product I scaled to $1,000, $2,000 a day. Because I know and understand my target audience better than everyone else. I did my research. I understood what frameworks I needed to test. Everything I did was intentional. The way I tested my creatives, I always do 4 frameworks because it gives me options, different ways of presenting the benefits, the problems, to see what resonates with my audience. I test with images and I test with videos because, again, I don't know what's going to resonate, but I do that intentionally because I know that format plays a part. When I have my frameworks picked out, I have 4 versions of each framework. So a how-to, I have 4 how-to ads, each with slightly different messaging, hooks, body, call to action, because again, I don't know what's going to work until I test. But when you do all that intentionally, when you also split test your offers to have 2 completely different feels, a BOGO offer versus volume discount, or a buy one, get a free gift versus a bundle deal, doing these things intentionally and understanding the philosophy behind why you're doing them is what's going to be able for you to take a product that other people can't make sales with and eventually build a brand that you're scaling to $1,000 a day with. That's the difference. So there are no winning products. The way you market them, your skills that you develop over time is what makes them a winner. Now, the next myth I see a lot is that media buying strategies are going to carry me. If I have the right strategy, if I have the perfect blueprint, that's going to be what makes me successful. The reality is the strategies aren't what's holding you behind. Your knowledge is not what's holding you behind in many cases. Now, for some of you, if you're really new, yes, you don't know what you don't know and you don't know what's important because you've only learned off of YouTube. And let's be honest, on YouTube, people are only going to talk about certain topics that get views. The real nitty gritty, the real hard nose work videos do not get views. People do not talk about it. So there's a lot of information you will be missing. But for the most part, you understand what this game is. It's finding products, it's building websites, it's creating ads, it's media buying. It's those 4 things. It's literally just that. You probably know 5 million different ways on how to find winning products because those videos get views. People will watch those. So people keep remaking the same video over and over again. You're not learning anything new there. So how do you actually get success? Because everyone values media buying strategies and product research strategies, especially media buying strategies. Everyone's like, oh, my new testing strategy, ABO, CBO, the black hat, CPMs are going to be lowered. You're going to trick the algorithm. This is how we, black hat, all that bullshit. It doesn't exist. There's only so many things you can do in an ad account. You can do ABO, you can do CBO, you can test with a certain amount of creatives. That's it, guys. There's not a magic button you're going to be able to press that's going to solve all of your problems. If your creatives suck and your website sucks, having the perfect, best media buying strategy in the world isn't going to fix your results. You are still going to get crappy results. But if you have amazing creatives and an amazing offer, you could have the worst media buying strategy in the world, and you are still going to make sales and you are still going to be profitable. A great media buying strategy only amplifies something that already would work on its own, which is a great offer and great creatives and a great product. That is it. So stop changing your media buying strategy every single week, thinking that's going to be the difference. Oh, if I go from ABO to CBO, if I try agency accounts, what if I have an age Facebook? Guys, it doesn't make a difference. The fundamentals are what makes a difference. Focusing on the execution of those things. And I know it's boring. I know you want some new tidbit. You want some new answer because you tried doing those things and focusing on that, but it hasn't worked yet. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just hasn't worked yet for you because your execution isn't there yet. You know you need to make good creatives. So if you haven't had a winning creative, you know you're lacking there. You have to keep putting in more work, trying new things, studying what's already working in the market. What ways can we improve our hooks? The visuals, the text, the copy. What way can I improve my script overall? The body, the call to action, the benefits I'm using, the visuals. Those changes, those tweaks are going to be what enables you to get success. And it takes practice. It takes time. It's not a quick fix. It takes weeks. It takes months. It's not sexy. There's not going to be a button that you can press to just fix this problem immediately today. You got to put in the work. And if you're afraid of the work and you don't want to do it, that's perfectly fine. Don't start a dropshipping business. Quit. Because it's not easy. Developing these skills does take time. But if you're patient and you focus on your skills and you focus on the execution and realize that the strategies are not nearly as valuable as you thought, then you will be rewarded with success. You don't chase butterflies, you build a garden that attracts the butterflies. And that's by developing skills, in marketing specifically. Now, the next myth I see a lot, and I know this seems a little bit counterintuitive or hypocritical to the previous point, is that a lot of people think they need to test 1 million products before they can be successful. You have to test 50, 100 products before you get your first winner. And while it's good to test with volume, I think that's very important because the more reps you put in, naturally the quality of each test is going to raise as you focus on your quantity. Because if you keep testing products, naturally your websites and your templates and your efficiency in making those websites should get better. Same thing with your creatives. Naturally, you're going to learn, you're going to improve, you're going to iterate. And from test 1 to test 12, you should notice drastic differences in the quality and the performance of your website and your creatives because you learned. You've gotten feedback from the market. Now, obviously, the way you can accelerate that further is getting feedback from an expert who's already been successful, who's already a few steps ahead that can tell you, oh, hey, what's going on, buddy? Your website's missing this. Or you can improve this guarantee section, or the social proof is missing this, or your offer, you're not split testing this variable, and I would want to try that out specifically with your margins. Oh, with your ad creatives, I didn't like this line, I would change it to this. Oh, the scripting with the frameworks, you should probably try this framework instead of that one. When you get real hands-on, direct one-on-one feedback, that's how you're going to accelerate your results much quicker because you're no longer guessing as to what's wrong. You know what's wrong and you know what the solution is. And that's more valuable than anything. So if you truly value your time, you don't need to test 1 million products. You don't need to go through 6 months, 12 months, 2 years of suffering and trial and error and spending thousands of dollars to figure out what works because you can just get feedback from someone. So I would recommend, it could be me, it could be someone else that you trust. I know I'm very handsome and intimidating and humble and 6'3" and jacked and funny at the same time. So having me as a mentor might be intimidating for a lot of you. So if you want someone that maybe is more down to earth, like an average Joe, I get that. I worked with Noah Brewer. I would say he was very much that exact stereotype. Very plain Jane dude. But when I came to him in my first year, I tested 25 plus products and I had not had a winner yet. I had made sales. I did $50,000 in revenue. I lost $3,000 though. I had a negative 5% profit margin. So I came to him and I thought I was hot shit. I had the Dunning-Kruger effect to a T where I thought I knew everything there was to know because I did a little bit. I made some sales. I was a little cocky, but I hadn't really made any profit. And boy, oh boy, did he humble me because when he looked at my website that I put so much time and effort into, which made me in my mind think it was good, but that's not the case. Just because you put a lot of time and effort into your creatives or website doesn't mean it's good. Do not equate those two things together. They do not correlate. I could spend an hour on creatives and make amazing creatives, and it could take you 10 days to make creatives. My creatives will still be better than yours. It wasn't the time that made them great. It was the planning. It was the experience. It was knowing how to do this. So for him, he looked at my website and he told me 10 different things I needed to fix immediately, and I couldn't even spot them. I didn't even know my blind spots. I had blinders on like a horse because I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought I knew everything when I clearly didn't. I mean, I'm still learning new things today. I just paid a mentor and I have a call with him, Frankie Kuros. He's a clothing brand owner. He's done over $20 million in sales with 2 different brands. And I am right now getting consulting from him for my clothing brand because there's stuff I don't know. And you have to put your ego at the door in a lot of cases and realize you're not going to know everything. It's okay to ask for help. This is one of the hardest things in the world to do. You're not just learning, in sports, you have a coach that's teaching you what to do, and that's just how to do one thing, just play a sport. Business, there's so many different things you need to know. You need to know website creation, ad creation, product research, media buying. Those are all 4 completely different skills. Those are specialized skills that there are individual roles that people will just focus on mastering one of those. And you have to know all 4. You have to be a jack of all trades. There's a lot of complexities. There's a lot of things you have to know. So to think and to have the ego that you're going to figure out all on your own, that's why 99% of people fail, because they're cheapos. They honestly have an ego that's way too big for their britches. They do not have the results to back up their confidence level. So a lot of times checking your ego at the door and realizing you don't know everything and just getting some outside feedback makes a huge difference, because it doesn't need to be a grind that takes you 50 to 100 product tests. For instance, just this week alone, if I go to my wins channel, so my student Danny here, focus camera, he's tested about, I would say, 6 products. We really focused before every single, so when I sign a student, before they test a single product, it takes time. It usually takes them 2 weeks to get the first product test, because they have to improve their quality dramatically in their websites and creatives. They have to think intentionally about everything. And they've never had to do that before. It's a much higher standard and bar for every test. So it takes them a lot of times to match that bar the first time. But then as they get to their second test and third test, it becomes like, it's a pattern. You understand, you get familiar. And you know it like the back of your hand. And that becomes your new standard. Because a lot of you guys, you just don't have the standard high enough to have a product that will work for you actually thrive, because your website's not good enough. Your ad creatives aren't good enough. And if you haven't built that environment for that product to succeed, it's not going to work for you. But if you know, for me at least, that I have this template that has worked, and this way that I build my creatives that does work, so that when I test a product, the only thing that can go wrong is that just the product isn't a winner, then that's where you want to be. Where you know it's not your skills fault as to why a product will fail. It's just the product, because the way you did it has proven to work in the past, and you know that based on your previous results. Now, if you've never had results, then clearly you have some learning to do. You have some things to tweak. But for Danny, he got to $5,000 a day. But just to illustrate this point even further, quick flex, my boy Tim just crossed $1 million in sales. Not bad. And that was last week. Okay, so right here, this is great. So my boy Sean, first product test in the program. He's been in the program 8 days. He's now doing $1,400 a day. How did he do that? We drastically improved the way he tests products. It's not rocket science. We saw that he was missing some things on his website. We saw that he was missing some things in his creatives, his hooks, his visuals, the media buying. We plugged it up. We taught him what he needed to do. He implemented that with speed, which is also very important. And then he got results. Now, is every time the first product you test going to be a winner? No. But when you do things with intention, when you know you have a blueprint that works, and then you follow that to a T and you stick to it like your life depends on it, and focus on executing it to the best of your abilities, and slowly over time, you're going to get even better and better at it, then you are going to eventually get success. It is almost inevitable when you have the right framework in front of you and you focus on executing it to the best of your abilities. So it doesn't need 1 million product tests. You can get there in your first or second. In fact, if you watch my interviews with my students Habib or Izzy this week, I believe both of them, it was their first product test, just because the way they were testing products in the past fundamentally was flawed, because they were missing key things. Now, the final myth I see a lot is that dropshipping is dead. Now, hopefully just through what you just saw over the last minute, you realize it's not. And I really believe the only reason why someone would ever say that is just because they're looking for an excuse to not get started in the first place. Or they tried it out for a few product tests, and they're using it as a coping mechanism. It's a limiting belief that, dropshipping is dead. That's why I was successful. Not taking any accountability, not realizing they didn't give it enough time, that they didn't develop their skills enough, that they didn't get the proper feedback and guidance from someone who actually knew what they were doing. They just tried to do it on their own. And wow, shocker. You're trying to learn one of the hardest things in the world, and you're trying to do it on your own without having a guidance, a teacher, or nothing. Of course you're going to fail. What'd you expect? You didn't come in with a game plan whatsoever. It's the laziest thing you could do. So dropshipping is not dead. And I have 7 stores that can prove that right now. Where if you have a SOP, where you have a team, and you know, if I test a product with this level of websites and this level of creatives, if the product is good, it is going to work. then you are going to discover winner after winner after winner. Now, not every product is going to be a winner, but you just need to focus on developing your skills and developing the quality and that standard of each test to a level where when you have the right product, it will make sales, it will thrive, and you will be able to scale it. It's as simple as that. So is dropshipping dead? No, it's never going to be dead. It is a form of business. It is retail marketing arbitrage that has always been around for hundreds of years, and it's going to be around for hundreds of years after us. It's always going to be a thing. As long as you're providing value and you're selling products that actually do solve problems and add to people's lives, it will always be something where you can make money. So while you might be in a situation where you're testing products and you feel demoralized, you may think this doesn't really work, trust me, stick to it, learn from someone, get feedback, test as many products as you can at a high quality level and keep improving and keep iterating. And eventually it is going to happen. It might not be today, might not be this week, it might not be this month, but eventually your day will come if you focus on your skills. So I hope you scale this Q4. I hope you get your first winner. And of course, if you need any help or like help from me and my team, we always have links down below for resources. And finally, a great way to develop your skills is obviously to study what's working for other people. So I would recommend taking a look at this video where I scaled a store from 0 to 80K a month last Q4 and show you the exact product that I sold, the exact creatives, the exact website, everything that you can now copy and paste so that you execute your next product test at the highest quality level that actually does work.